This episode of JavaScript on Doc's Bench accompanies the w3schools.com JavaScript tutorial and the for loop lesson displayed here. Please take a few minutes to look that over. The structured theorem tells us that all problems can be solved by using a combination of one or more of three logical constructs. And those constructs are sequence, doing a task one step at a time in sequence; selection, taking an alternate path based upon the truth of a condition we are interested in; or iteration, by performing a step or series of steps over and over again until it's time to quit. Today, we look at the for loop, which is one of JavaScript's forms of iteration. I created this webpage to demonstrate JavaScript's for loop. Now we'll just move past my styling and let's get right down into the JavaScript itself. Now the first thing that I did was to print out the date and a title for my web page. Nothing new there, so let's move on. Here's my for loop. The very first thing that I did was to initialize the variable I. I declare it with the var statement and then initialize it to 0. Here is the meat of a for loop. It begins with the word for, F-O-R. Then I give it 3 parameters within parentheses, and these are separated by semicolons. Now the first parameter is the initial value. So I'm going to start I at the value of 0. The next parameter is the loop exit decision. The loop exit decision tells us when it's time to stop the loop. Without a good loop exit decision, we would fall into what is known as the infinite loop that never stops. So you want to be careful here and construct a loop exit decision that will occur. In our case, we're saying I less than or equal to 5. As long as that condition is true, we will continue our loop. Without the next parameter, we would have an infinite loop because I would stay at 0. So we need this third parameter. This is the increment or step value. And what I'm doing here is simply incrementing the value of I by 1. So we begin at 0, go to 1, then 2, 3, 4, 5. Eventually, after printing 5, we will increment I to 6. 6 is not less than or equal to 5, so our loop will end. Now, what am I doing within the for loop? Well, my entire loop is enclosed within curly brackets. And I have 2 write statements. The first document.write is going to begin a paragraph, type the phrase or display the phrase, the number is, and then concatenate the value of I to the end of that string. The next write simply ends the paragraph. That's it. We are going to count from 0 to 5 and display our numbers. Okay, let's see our web page in action. Remember, our JavaScript will automatically run. So here I am in my JavaScript course folder, and I'm going to double click on forloop.html. And there you have it. This is our web page, and we see we've got the date and time, our heading, JavaScript's for loop, and then our 6 numbers ranging from 0 to 5. That, my friends, is the for loop. Give it a try.